Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view? Raise the frequency, happy to see me. Are you ready for a holistic view? Are you ready
Greetings,
for the holistic
bonjour,
view?
hello, ¿cómo estás? And all that.
We ever awaken your mind.
My name is Derek Bartoluccelli, and I love speaking language. Been living in France for basically a third of my life. Recently been back in America for the past year. I'm broadcasting live from New Mexico, and there's been a lot of stuff that's been weighed and tested heavy on my heart, and I've had to alchemize that to so many degrees and levels, and keeping it light as a feather, as I did a great discussion with Brandon Spencer about those things. And it's always honored to speak with Brandon, because him and I go way back, as far back as the headdress of Mayat and her feather, which we try to live by as light within our hearts. And
Howdy, howdy. I hope all is well in these troubling times. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I know it's been a while since I've posted on Communist Tube, but please don't forget that I am posting my content on other platforms, my main content. So I've posted some other videos on Odyssey, the One Great Work Network, and BitChute. So please go check it out there. So I want to inform people that I recently did a video with Derek Bartoluccelli, I hope I'm saying that right, Derek, and Leslie Powers. They have created a platform called Dissolving the Divide. And that's what it's all about, is trying to heal ourselves on an internal basis, because we have this internal contradiction. We have this internal schism. This is something that I've talked about in my work many, many times. And if you are not familiar with Derek and Leslie's work, I highly recommend that you go check it out. I've done 2 videos with Derek on my own platform. I know he and I did some videos on the LibraCast, and some of his music was in the Freedom Under Natural Law 2 conference. He puts out a lot of wonderful, positive, conscious hip hop mixtapes, and I'm constantly playing them in the background. And if you're not familiar with Leslie's work, she is a wonderful soul, just a wonderful human being. Brings great energy, and she talks about psychology. She talked about healing our trauma, and she's putting out a lot of great work. If you watch the first Freedom Under Her Natural Law conference, her presentation was very inspirational, and then she brought the heat for the second one. So in this video that we created, we talked about some solutions, because everything that I focus on is solution based. We're talking about understanding how natural law, we're talking about healing our trauma, but we talk about some techniques that we can use, such as meditation, conscious breathing, and then she also talks about the locus of control. You have pretty much this victim mentality, where people will have something happen to them, and then they feel as though that they are not in any form of power to create change. So pretty much people base their power as a form of external power. And it's the question should be asked is, where is your locus of control? If you're one of these people who think that you are not powerful, then you pretty much think that the power lies outside of yourself. So you pretty much claim to be a victim, and then your mentality, is I'm weak, I have low self-esteem, I can't change this situation. But if your locus of control comes from an internal basis, then you do understand that, hey, you do have this power. You can create change. You are the one who is in control. And I want to thank Leslie for bringing that to my awareness. But yeah, in this video, dissolving the divide, we all brought some good energy. It was a very positive video. It was very informative, and I hope that everyone can check it out. Links will be in the description, as always. And if you are just too lazy to to watch the videos on other platforms, just scan the QR code. It's really not that hard. And for some reason, my sources Stream Deck tab is not working, but it's all good. You can find my work very easily. But yeah, I want to thank Leslie and Derek. Me and Derek partied pretty hard last night with Rick, and our chat stayed up late, so you can probably see it. My face didn't get much sleep. But yeah, it's all about healing this internal division, because if we don't heal this internal division, it's going to continue to manifest on the external world. There's a reason why it's called divide and conquer, ladies and gentlemen, because the division happens within ourselves, then therefore we get conquered on the external plane. But anyways, this is going to be very short, because YouTube isn't worth my time. So please go and check this out on other platforms, the full video. And then please go and check out Dissolving the Divide. I can't wait to see what all new videos they have in store. Peace out.
The effects are inherent in their causes. We observe every day that causes produce consequences.
It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced. It's perfectly balanced.
Keeping one's personality somewhat hermetically sealed, and just, falling back on eternal principles, your eternal soul, and the codes of consciousness that we're supposed to be just activating within ourselves and aligning to, That goes into natural law, Kabbalion, if you're familiar with that, Hermetic principles, and it really does boil down to your state of mind. And what I've noticed is, after shifting my worldview and my whole mind state so many times, especially, I've been living in France for over a dozen years. And it's hard to make people realize within the Americentric realm of things, in a sense, like what that actually means and what that entailed, because I've deprogrammed from so many different ideologies and behaviors and mentalities and things of that nature that we kind of get conditioned in America, and just being able to see from a bird's eye view where I'm from, especially in a place like the San Francisco Bay Area, where it's quite the tunnel vision in certain areas, and just completely removing myself from all these head cage programs and things that seem to limit one's self-expression and knowledge of what's out there in reality and within themselves. And I went through many dark nights of the soul. It's also considered shadow work, inner work, the alchemical process, spiritual alchemy, if you will, or just, bettering oneself, And I was able to be in a position to do that with an activated heart, because I was in love with my ex-wife so dearly that I wanted to change, myself, my behaviors, and things of that nature, and get acclimated to a different country, continent. We're living in France. I lived in Paris for 5 years. I lived in the south of France in a beautiful small city called La Ciotat, not far from Marseille. And last year I was living in Brittany, in a couple places. And to be honest, been divorced for 3 years, and I've moved around at least 30 times. and I've suffered 3 heartbreaks within this whole situation, and it's it's been some wonderful life lessons, and I've grown and strengthened so much from it because I actually did pay attention and did the work and had countless mirror moments within myself and in front of the mirror, and trying to look over my whole life and my relationship with the world and women and parents and family and friends and everyone, strangers. Because I found myself a stranger in a foreign land all of a sudden in 2019, before the dawning of the Rona, and that whole situation, however people want to look at it in regards to COVID-19. I know it's not a laughing matter to some, and it's a serious situation for others, and blah, flippity blah. All I've known and experienced and observed is that it's affected every single person on the planet Earth, pretty much, in not just one way. And it's not just, how the lockdowns and all, can't do this, can't do that, blah blah blah, mandatory whatever, but also just the rift it caused between people, family and friends, relationships. And I've just noticed so many other people had breakups and at odds with people since that time, and even before that things were so polarized since Donald Trump stirred the pot to a crock of shit back in 2016 or something like that. I was in France. I wasn't really paying attention. I haven't voted for over a decade, so I just whatever. I just see all these things as divisions, and this is what this whole spiel is getting towards, is that I've realized years ago, but even more evidently, and kind of recognizing that this is one of the causal factors that needs to be dealt with as a priority if we really want to be living in a free society. However people imagine that, we have to kind of just remove certain things aside and all these blinders, right, and just use your imagination, without everything going on and what history has shown us and this and that. And there's wonderful books and this and that we can glean on and be inspired by, but basically what it comes down to is the fact that this world has been on lockdown since antiquity, and I'm not going to get into all the esoteric occult sides of what actually happened since the fall of Atlantis, but basically we're like in a fallen reality in a sense, and things are not supposed to be this way on a true organic Earth timeline, and we're not supposed to be living in this kind of like hell cycle where we're like, we need to feed off other life sources just to sustain our own life force energy. But as far as like who we are in relation to the cosmos, we're not supposed to be these human beings trapped at a base level consciousness, 2-strand DNA, harmonic, limited frequency, trapped in duality, being cut off from source, being born into so many, generations of trauma and, unconscious parents and all these things, and just the perpetuated cycles that, came before us and that we're trying to break, rectify, and correct in this lifetime. And I know people listening to this might understand what I'm saying. If not, that's okay. We're trying to just simplify things and bring it back to common ground on any kind of level, because in the end we're all standing on common ground as far as Mother Earth is concerned, and she's been raped and pillaged enough, and How are you trying to heal that motherly wound within your connection to Mother Earth? But yeah, we're so divided on so many levels, and there's so many programs running on so many other programs that, you know, it's the Gordian knot. And if you haven't felt or understood like the entanglement that you're trapped in, then you really should take heed to these things. And in this whole video series that I'm trying to present in regards to dissolving the divide.
Divide and conquer, that's the model, this role model, but doesn't go with what's inside my soul, so I don't follow. I walk my own path and keep my own pace and feel great when I relate to people in the same state. Divide and conquer, that's the model, this role model, that doesn't go with what's inside my soul, so I don't follow. I walk my own path and keep my own pace and feel great when I relate to people in the same state.
This is Derek Bartoluccelli, your friendly conscious DJ, here to, introduce Dissolving the Divide. This is a very special project that Leslie Powers and I have put together. This video is specifically just laying down the foundation as a primer for everyone to understand what this is about, where we're coming from, and a little bit about us.
Alive and thriving. Awaken your true potential by taking responsibility for your personal psychology, lifestyle choices, and holistic health. Claim your sovereign freedom and free your soul as you are guided by natural law and right moral action. Hi, my name is Leslie Powers. I'm a clinical social worker. I've been working in the field of social work and mental health therapy for over 30 years. And this is my introductory foundational course called Alive and Thriving. My website is alivethrive.life, which is a blending of clinical social work concepts, psychology, and philosophy inspired by natural law concepts and principles.
If you're really serious about getting involved in this in any kind of way, please contact us via the links below. So we're flipping the script on the conquer the divide strategies, dialectics, divisions, programs, conditioning, manipulations, you know? And it really ultimately comes down to oneself as well, because there's so much conflict within a lot of people, and they need to really sort that out so they can stop projecting all that stuff into the reality field and perpetuating a lot of things that, you know, we don't have to live with. You know, we could do better as a collective. We can do better as individuals. So, yeah, I'm no one super special. I've had a lot of interesting experiences. I've seen the world in many different places. Nowhere near 100 countries, but yeah, it's been interesting just seeing how different cultures relate. I've been to North Africa, Asia, lived in Europe for 13 years, you know, went to Mexico, even Canada, and some other places. You know, it's just really interesting to see the world outside of the Americentric viewpoint. And I know people listening to this aren't all from America, and that's nothing against Americans, you know. But yeah, just noticed some limitations of perspectives from North America if they really haven't, you know, ventured outside of, because they're, you know, the television programming and education is pretty Americentric. But anyways, yeah, it's all about finding common ground within oneself, the world around them, and the people they interact with. And you know, at the same time, keeping that, you know, balance of sacred feminine, masculine energies and principles, as far as the non-aggression principle via the feminine, and the self-defense principle via the masculine, and holding things accountable and not allowing so much bullshit to pass. We're in the situation because so much bullshit is just, festered, and we're not addressing it enough, So, this is going to be a series that is going to be a lot of therapeutical, needed topics of conversation for all sides of the spectrum to tune into and possibly learn from, and try to realize and understand that, we're all not that different at all. Like all these people claiming woke or awake or whatever level of consciousness or awareness. What does it mean in the end? Like, are you a true human being, like true to yourself, an authentic individual who, enjoys life despite all the bullshit going on, and able to have a true connection with nature and the nature within yourself? The natural law, naturosophy, as Corey Enterlet likes to call it. And not to ramble on, but yeah, there's so much more to life than what we're exposed to on TV and even like YouTube and all these things. Everything is out there pretty much at this point, guys. It's 2023, and keep it conscious out there. And are we not here to actually use both of our ears and listen twice as much as we speak through, one orifice? I guess some people speak out of two because they like to talk out of their ass, but that's nothing that needs to be mentioned. This whole series is not to poke fun at the other side or anything like that, But at the same time, we will just make objective observations and call a spade a spade, There's no beating around the bush these days. We really need to come together in so many ways and bridge so many gaps and heal so many wounds. So yeah, if you're not trying to like have that as part of like your daily mindset for yourself and others, you might want to think about that, because it does help. I'm in it for the win-win. That's all I'm doing, and this is all done for free with good conscious intention, with the exact action behind it. I really am a man that tries to walk the talk. I'm not here postulating on anything, trying to make myself larger than I am, or any of that stuff. We've all been victim to arguments or setbacks, or believing in falsehoods, or being wrong, or making mistakes, having accidents. Ain't nobody perfect. At the same time, unfortunately, what I've noticed over the past year or two is that there's certain topics of discussion that trigger people out way too much, and they seem to project a lot of discord. And I've had some falling outs with people who claim to be, on the truth-seeking, speaking levels, even. And it's a cool rock, little quartz. In the end, it just seems like they don't have a good relationship within themselves, because they haven't done enough shadow work like I have, who can notice certain projections and things that, okay, this person isn't really seeing me, eye to eye. It's almost that eye for an eye, which can kind of lead us both blind if we're going to take that route. But I'm not playing those games, because I'm out of this, dualistic bitch shit. And I just wish that adults would act like adults a lot more often, and not get triggered and say some, dumb shit in the heat of any kind of moment. And yeah, you live and you learn. There's trial and error, but at the same time, where are we at with the amount of domination and control that is programmed to pit us against each other? You haven't learned that lesson. I'm not mad at you, I'm disappointed. I've been sad. I've been kind of heartbroken at times, but hey, life goes on. I'm not off-ended. You know? People like us are not easily offended because we stand on solid ground as far as eternal principles, knowledge of self, and that kind of stuff that I've been trying to share and evoke for years and years and years. I've had my channel AwakenYaMind for a decade now. Conscious DJ, whatever the hell, you know, I don't, you know, have ego attachments to this. I'm trying to do bigger and better things and actually put a practice together where I can actually help people in real life beyond just, you know, the digital world, and have a practice about it and make a living off of it, you know? Everything I've done up to this point has been for free. I can't tell you how many countless hours I've spent over the past decade putting so much content together. I have over 200 videos. Well over 200 hours of, you know, stuff, and it's really just, I'm not putting stuff out there just to say, hey, look at me. It's actually putting stuff out there like, hey, look at the message. Learn, listen, observe, be inspired, be encouraged, be empowered. I know I've been from these things, and it's been therapeutic for me as well. And I have no qualms about how it's, you know, unraveled throughout the years. And I appreciate everyone who's supported me and tuned in to any degree, you know. So, yeah, much love. And might as well leave you with a little conscious music to end out. And yeah, please be on the lookout. Dissolving the Divide. I'm going to be co-hosting with a very wonderful conscious woman, Leslie Powers, and yeah, we're looking to dive as deep as possible to help bridge as many gaps as we can, you know. If you want to be part of this journey, yeah, we're more than happy to have you aboard. If you're willing to, yeah, just be decent, respectful. If you want to participate, let us know. Or if you just want to learn and watch, that's great as well. And share with others, you know. So yeah, we're not trying to waste anyone's time, especially our own. You know, we have our own other works on the side. This is a very special project that's going to be coming out. It's going to be going on for like maybe a year or something like that. We're going to try to do at least one video a week, interviewing one person, you know, having that divine, masculine, feminine co-hosting going on between Leslie and I. And yeah, she's a part of the One Great Work Network. And there's a lot of wonderful people up in there that we're going to inquire about, speak to hopefully. And yeah, I've already spoken with a bunch, and yeah, had some wonderful interactions and conversations with them, and learned a good deal. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be in this position. It's been a long journey from where I've been and what I've been through. But yeah, wish you all a wonderful, prosperous new year. Healthy, holistic, you know. So yeah. Peace out, yeah.
I'm so sick of screaming about today's wrongs. The death is the people whose souls are long gone. I restrain my precious breath so I can stay strong. The straight and narrow path to righteousness is so long. I walk this road with nothing in my heart. I hold a song that keeps me marching on. Native son battles on in Babylon. Travel like only I bring along. The state of our needs, other artists is just wasting precious time. Recite petty punchlines, mixed with battle rhymes. That shit's just an article compared to my full life chronicle, which is way too philosophical. philosophical, never ill, logical. My words stick in heads like hair follicles. I'm breaking down life to its particles. My powerful, hypnotical energy helps me see things for what they really are. Protecting eye, cause my body got too many scars. Some people try to straight snuff this star. I think the most high for getting me through this far, so I don't trip off my enemies that hurt me. For I learned the blood loss can be regained, but moments gonna never return. So in my book of life, a new page has been turned. Walking through the flames of fear, I remain unscathed, not burned. Tear up and door, all of life scorn and pain. But now I want the anchors in the deed to gain. But it's a shame I may conform to this planet's mainframe. And forget the most important reason of playing this game is to infiltrate and rearrange. See, from corner to studio to stage, I'ma keep this anchor enraged till I change the evil this day and age. And keep hate at a minimum like a sweatshop's hourly wage. Licking shots to the scare yachts, proving that the sun is up to gauge. Or rhymes to purify like a bush of burning sage. The sun, patience with the rocks, mountain suns. Patience is bitter, but its fruit is so sweet. I reconstruct myself safely in heavens to make myself complete. Far away from planet Earth's weakening days. High top, I watch the population stalk the wicked maze. In these last times and days, my words cut through the world's darkness. Feel my life's waves as I take off like planes on runways. I bring forth ways for my people, eliminate mental haze. Throw away your calendar, every day's a Sunday. When you're living by God's way, all power internal can be affected by Y2K. My soul can have an outage of energy, so I'm here to relay this one hit. Be rid of your television, disconnect to sprint, or prepare to live number void. When away your soul gone and went to my spiritually strong, stay aware, be patient, just as our ancestors that are ancient. All places to commit, I say that with respect. Others agree, but in their hearts they reject it. I analyze it in their ways and actions. See, we can remind me of petty malfractions. Common denominators always dividing and inciting. Will I stay building and colliding like force, so I can take course on this next millennium, giving knowledge to the deaf, blind, and dumb. I just like a baba over the beat of the drum, rejoicing words that are heard over the land. For I no longer understand, I overstand. So every man left for dead on this wasteland, I outreach an open hand to pick you up, for you're no different from me. And if I didn't help, I'd be like the oppressor, that's tyranny, which leads to democracy. The blood of my ancestors watered America's tree of liberty, dragged out to sea to live in slavery. Now in my century, I see history repeat. Instead of cotton and bale, blacks work in jail cells. Math of this new world is a Pentium or Intel. Oh shit, that's a whip you can't feel or see. Online host programming minds to a frequency, but my patience has persevered. They will never get me. I stick to my culture like glue, delivering essence to him, her, and you. Bring a life like J.B. Rule. Blah, half man, half bird. Pierce through in reality, destroy fallacies. Relate to veracity, giving hope to man's tragedy. So I see, my words are tied and run with the great mountains, trees, suns, and one with my body and my heart, patience. Tied and run, patience.
Damn, will we ever?